going on in Arizona. This is so incredible. Here we are in, it's Monday, not just any Monday, it's election eve. And we've all stepped away from whatever we were doing to have fun in this gorgeous weather, and we're sitting here listening to politicians. That's how much we care about this state, right? I never thought I would be standing here. You know, I walked away from my job. Many of you remember me from my days on TV, right? And I stepped away from that when I realized that it was all propaganda, and I wasn't willing to push that. And the ratings have been going down the tubes ever since. But I'll tell you what, I would have never envisioned myself 524 days ago, I swear I'm not counting, when we threw our hat into the ring of politics, that we would be standing here on the verge of doing something historic in Arizona. We have a movement, guys. This is a movement. It's not a campaign. It's a movement of patriotic Arizonans who are sick of the crap, right? Can I say that in a church? I'm sorry, God. Sorry. Get the curse jar. I'm going to put $1 in it right now. But what we have upon us is moms and dads who finally said, look, we're busy. Like, look at Blake. He's busy raising 3 beautiful boys, he and his wife. And they look up from that, and the world's going to, you know what, in a handbasket. And they go, I guess we got to get involved and save the world on top of it. And so that's what's happening. Moms and dads are getting involved. I call them mama bears. Do we have any mama bears in this crowd? Any papa bears? Any just single people who are fed up as well? All right. This is what's happening. When we, the people, finally raise our heads up and say, wait a minute, we're not letting this country go. And we're going to start by saving Arizona first, right? So I have a question. How many of you, say, 3 or 4 years ago, would you found yourself on a Monday at, middle of the afternoon doing politics? Raise your hand. All right, Rob would have. That's why he's running. One person said they would have, maybe 2. That tells you what kind of a movement we have. People who've never been involved in politics are now involved. They are off the sideline. They are in the game, as my football coach dad would have said. We are in the game, and we are with seconds left on the clock. 24/7. We've got 24 seconds left on the clock? Okay, maybe. We've done all the work. We've done all the work. Wendy's been out there working. Roxana, Rob's been out there working. Everybody running has been working their tail off. If they're Republicans. My opponent, I saw yesterday, was zip-lining. I'm like, zip? I can't even find time to eat or use the restroom. And here she is zip-lining and eating ice cream yesterday. And I'm like, she's not serious about running the state. And she wants us to give her this job. Frankly, she doesn't deserve this job. Katie Hobbs is a twice convicted racist, and the fake news won't tell you that. Did you know that? Twice convicted racist, costing the taxpayers of this great state nearly $3 million because she paid women of color $30,000 less than she paid men for doing the same job. And they accuse us of being racist. I'll tell you what, we don't want that. We cannot go backwards and put someone like her in the governor's office. It would be an absolute disaster. If she's not willing to work hard, then she can't have this job. And that's what I think. I grew up in the Midwest, and we had to work hard for everything we wanted. I'm the youngest of 9. If we wanted something, we had to work for it. If we wanted shampoo, we had to work for it. If we wanted toothpaste, we had to work for it. This is what we need right now, workers, people ready to get in there, get the job done with some common sense. And you know what I'm going to do. You've been watching, you've been following this campaign, right? Day 1, we're going to call it what it is, issue an invasion on our border. That's right. And we're going to take the materials that are sitting there in the desert that we, the people, paid for, and we're going to take them back and finish President Trump's wall. We have no choice, guys. We've got a fentanyl crisis going on. We're not even known as the Grand Canyon state. Right now, they're thinking that we're the fentanyl state. I don't want to be known as the fentanyl pipeline state. And so we've got to challenge and take on these cartels. Joe Biden on day 1 in the first 10 minutes, pulled back a policy at the border that was keeping us safe. And ever since then, it's been complete havoc on our border. We need a strong governor to take back our border, and you're going to get that with me. I guarantee it. That's right. And, you know, they want us to forget what happened in 2020 when our streets were being torn up, our businesses were on fire, and they said, oh, that's peaceful protesting, as they were destroying our cities. At the same time, they were not allowing us to stand closer than 6 feet together. They were masking our beautiful children. This is outrageous. We're not going to forget what they did to us during COVID. When they just destroyed our cities, when they destroyed our businesses, when they shut our churches down. We will not forget that. And Governor Kari Lake, I will never shut your business down. I won't shut your churches down. And I will not ever mask you up again. Because you know what? I'd never do that. But I think we've all grown and learned, and we will never do that anyway. Right? Heck no, we're not going back. We're not going to have them. We will not comply with that kind of tyranny, never again. And so, as I talk about it, and I brought up, you know, our children, and this is really why I'm in it. I have 2 children of my own. They're not little kids anymore. They're 18 and 19. But I want them to have the opportunities that we had. Arizona has been such a great place. So many of us came here from other states for an opportunity, such as myself. Some of us grew up here. And it's an amazing state. We want to have those same opportunities for our kids. And at the rate things are going, if Katie Hobbs gets anywhere near the governor's office, we're going to look a lot like California, and it's not going to be pretty. This is why I have a homeless policy, that we're going to tackle the chronic street homelessness on our streets. God did not envision any one of us living on the street with a needle in our arm. We're going to lift these people up. We're going to get them help. We're going to use something called tough love. Because sometimes you need to give a little tough love and encouragement to get that help. But we're no longer going to allow people to live on the streets, use drugs, and cause problems. Right? We want to have safe and secure streets. What we've been doing is enabling the problem, and it's hurting our quality of life. And I'll tell you what, the good people of Arizona who pay their taxes want their streets and parks back. And we're going to deliver that for them. And then, being a mama bear, I am also dating myself a bit here. And some of you who are older, such as myself and even older than me, will remember when we used to do this in high school. We're going to go back to dual track education. That means after 10th grade, yep, someone's like, yes, I am old, just like you. After 10th grade, we're going to let kids decide if they want to go to that college track, that's great, go for it. Or if they want to get trade skill training, vocational training, and career certification in high school, to take on those high-paying jobs that are out there. Now, here's what my opponent wants to do. Here's her education plan. She actually put her name on this. At the same time she was voting against a border wall, against a virtual border wall, and against funding our border task force to save us and help us at the border, she was sponsoring legislation to begin sex education in kindergarten. It's terrible. And this is what it's about, guys. They're really going after our kids. We all care about the economy, and we're going to help with the economy. We're going to bring down and get rid of the taxes that you're paying for rent and taxes you're paying for groceries. But when it comes down to it, we care most about our kids. We have got to get these groomers out of the school. What they're teaching our kids is wrong. It's terrible. We're going to do things to make our streets safer, but we're also going to protect our kids in school. No more indoctrination. We want a real education for our kids. I know we do. We think of these precious little innocent babies. We send them off to school, and then we find out that they're taking their impressionable minds and filling it with complete nonsense, telling our boys that they can be girls and girls they can be boys. And it is demonic, and they're trying to tell them, you know, these impressionable little ones that they can change their gender. Then they're the ones who say that we're the science deniers? Really? Let's talk about some basic science here. There are 2 genders, guys, 2. I don't mean to, like, startle you, but there are 2 genders. And listen, I have a compassionate heart. I feel for people who are dealing with that, but do not push that on our children. And we need to stand up at this moment in history and stop it. We truly do. If we won't, who will? If we won't stand up at this moment and protect our children, who the heck will, guys? So are you willing? Are you willing to stand up and help protect our children? I am. I'm ready. That means we got to vote. We got to vote. We got to get this entire Republican slate in there. Vote Republican up and down that ballot. Get Tom Horn in there to help turn our education around. We got to get Abe Hamadeh in there so that we can secure our border. We've got to have Blake Masters in the U.S. Senate. Let's send Mark Kelly back into outer space. And we got to have people like Rob Scantlebury, a cop, a former cop, and Roxana Huzapfel, a former cop, elected into the legislature so that we can get some common sense stuff passed. Right? So, while you're all standing, this is what I need you to do. We need to tell the fake news that we're not watching them anymore. Are you guys watching the fake news anymore? Turn around and tell them, we're not watching you guys anymore. We don't care what you say. And this is how we've been able to have this movement. Because we found out last week that we had 100% negative coverage by the fake news. This candidate had 100% negative coverage by the fake news. And congratulations, he said. And we still have a movement. That tells me that they've completely lost control of the narrative and they've lost all power. Is that a beautiful thing? Is that a beautiful thing? We need to get out and vote, guys. Tomorrow, the final piece of the puzzle. We've been working so hard. I've seen so many of these wonderful faces on the campaign trail. But I can't go out and vote for you. I guess the Democrats do that. Maybe the Democrats do. I can't go out and vote for you. You guys have to go out and vote. And tomorrow you have to vote like your life depends on it. You have to vote like your state depends on it. You have to vote like your children's lives depend on it. It does, and your grandchildren's, and our future.